Welcome back, Shalligators. Well, so much for my grand plans of taking a few days off. Just when I think it's safe to take a nap, to go to Target, to clean my house. No, in comes Kim Kardashian from the left. Evidently, Kim and Kanye are finally calling it quits with a K. We got to stay on brand. But are they? And what's going on with these rumors of Kanye and Jeffree Star? Oh, we're going to break all of these things down. I'm going to tell you what I think is true and what I think is likely. I'm going to tell you what I know about everyone involved in this scenario firsthand. And most importantly, we're going to talk about what we can learn. How do you know when it's time to walk away? I'm going to show you the red flags that a guy is never going to change. And let me tell you, girl, there's not that many of them. There's kind of just one, maybe three. And most importantly, how to move on with grace and dignity. How to move on from something that you thought was forever, and it's not. We're going to break it all down, never fear. But before we do, just want to remind you guys, you can shop my warm-blooded necklace. It's the newest collection with Vault NYC, which is a woman-owned brand. I love them. They did our revenge necklace, and that sold out in 24 hours. This sold out in like 36 hours. We just restocked it, so there's more. You can get them in gold and silver. Head on over there to pick them up. Also, follow me on Instagram. You guys suggested this topic. I always let you weigh in. I love to know what you think. Even if we've kind of done a topic before, there's always new things we're learning as we grow, new nuances to a topic. So we've talked about moving on from relationships a lot, but it's important to loop in this concept of, can someone change? And speaking of change, if you want to make some changes in your life and you want to get a hold of me, talk to me one-on-one, 2 ways to do it. You can head to my website, shallonlester.com, and submit a written question there. I'll get back to you in a few days. Or you can head on over to Cameo if you would like a video shout out from me. It's really fun. I love doing pep talks, birthday wishes. I even helped someone with an engagement. It was really special. Really special. Anyway, Kim and Kanye. Okay. So a day or two ago, the New York Post reported size 89 font. Kim goes bust. It's finally over. Now, the Post doesn't always get everything right, but sometimes they do. And it's very easy to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Well, they got one story wrong, then that means everything's wrong. Well, you don't think they got one story right, everything's right. Kim and Kanye have been on this endless slow motion train wreck collision course, seemingly, for years, right? Years, almost as soon as it began, you're like, girl, get out. And then there was just another baby and another, and then 2 more. And you're like, wow, everywhere I turn, there's babies. And Kanye seems to be the thing that needs the most care and handling in that family. And also perhaps because he's been cheating, not just cheating. Maybe gay cheating. Oh, and not just gay cheating. There's a lot of beautiful gay men who can help themselves sometimes. Cheating with Jeffree Star. I'll tell you what I know about Jeffree. And I'll tell you why I've never mentioned him on this channel before. We'll get there in a second. Is this true about Kim and Kanye? Maybe. Maybe it isn't. Maybe this is just the first warning shot. But the Post says that Kim wanted to leave him in the summer when he was literally having a psychotic break and was in Wyoming, sitting in his car, and Kim was trying to get in and help him and get him into treatment. He was tweeting Chris Jong-un and blah, blah, blah. He was not doing well. And she wanted to leave him then, but it was a bad look to divorce your husband in the middle of a bipolar episode. So the Post says Kim has engaged Laura Wasser, the pit bulliest of divorce attorney pit bulls, and she's ready to really do this. She's got her ducks in a row. Us Weekly is saying that Kim has been blindsided that this leaked, and she really wanted to control the narrative. So now she's kind of scrambling, trying to frame things and I guess put this divorce either into hyperdrive or the narrative into hyperdrive. And it's so easy to shit all over the Kardashians. It is, but people, dude, you don't even understand how hard they work. They really do. I can't imagine. I do not the same thing as Kim, but the sort of same galaxy. I know how busy I am. I know how many tentacles my own business octopus has. We've talked about the business octopus. There's the podcast and the Cameo and the Substack and blah, 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 blah. Little tentacles. Kim also has a business octopus. She has a business kraken. I cannot imagine how busy her time is, and 4 children and her crazy ass family, and Kanye West on top of it. Even on his best day, he just seems exhausting. Do you remember the Band-Aid thing? Where he was screaming and raging. This was like all off camera, but Kim was talking about it on the show, that he felt slighted because she wouldn't get up and get him a Band-Aid. She's like, you're a grown man. Go get your own fucking Band-Aids. And Khloe was like, if he wants a Band-Aid, can you not just do that for him? I was very much Team Kim. It's like, I'm not your goddamn Band-Aid concierge, okay? But I think that was just so emblematic of their relationship, that she was parenting this man right along with her kids. And at some point, you look at your actual kids and you look at him, who is capable and intelligent and rich and bipedal. He can get up and walk. And you're like, who the fuck are you? What do you think you need from me? They actually need things. What do you think you need from me? Huh? My design team needs something. My lawyers need something. You need Band-Aids? I'm like mad for her. And I think so many of us women have been in relationships like this, where we end up parenting our boyfriends. You know the favorite tweet I've ever seen, the best tweet. Having a boyfriend is like having a dumb son. I've never had the entire experience of being a woman summarized so succinctly. It's incredible. But let's keep talking about this divorce. So this is what the post says. She is serious about taking the bar exam and becoming a lawyer. She is serious about her prison reform campaign. Meanwhile, Kanye is talking about running for president and saying other crazy shit, and she's just had enough of it. The post also says that trouble was basically, the writing was on the wall at Kim's birthday party in, October. That he showed up for one day, and she had like rented an island in Tahiti, basically. He showed up early and left early. He wouldn't appear in any of the Instagram shots. All he did was bring over the hologram of her father, Robert Kardashian, then got out of there as fast as he could. And then recently, Kim was in Tahoe with her family. Kanye wasn't there. He didn't appear in any of the shots at Christmas time. And, even if you're not super into the Instagram, like posing for pictures, which honestly is kind of a hard argument to make for Kanye, considering he tweets things like, I've been trying to divorce Kim and I told her not to have an abortion and abort north. Like, he's not exactly Captain Private. And if you can't pose for a Christmas photo with your family, chances are you weren't even there. So I don't think he spent Christmas with them. Like, it seemed to be like it was just the girls. So things are bad. When you don't spend Christmas with your husband, that's not good, girl. That's not good. So what about this Jeffree Star thing? If you guys don't know, there's a viral TikTok going around from some chick named Ava Louise. Louise? What could your last name possibly be that's worse than Louise? I'm sorry if your name's Louise. I'm sorry. There's just something about that name I hate. It reminds me of mayonnaise. Mayonnaise Louise. I don't know. I'm sorry. You know how you just have things about names? Tell me what names you hate. Let's talk about names we hate. Because they're always associated with people we didn't like. And a girl I went to Sunday school with was named Louise. And she was a bitch. Anyway. So Ava Louise, that bitch from Sunday school, said on her TikTok, she's like, I'm so glad this is all coming out because finally I can share the tea I've been holding in. Kanye's been hooking up with a beauty guru, a male beauty guru. Everybody knows it. This chick straight up says, she's like, well, I can't prove it. She's walking it back. I would walk it way the fuck back. Do you know who Kim Kardashian's mom is? Who do they say works harder than the devil? Kris Jenner. And sometimes me. Maybe we're all one and the same, all three of us. So these rumors are completely unfounded, but that hasn't stopped them from spreading, as rumors are wont to do. And people are saying that this is actually more than just a rumor, that it's likely because there was a picture of Jeffree Star wearing ski goggles, and in the reflection, was it Kanye West? Jeffree has a house in Wyoming, allegedly. So does Kanye. I want to talk to you. Both of you, stay out of Montana. Stay out of here. Stay out of here. I went and got my lashes done the other day, and someone said something about Jeffree Star, and I was like, and she's like, oh, he came in here one time. I was like, lock the fucking doors. Burn everything he's touched. He is a horcrux of a person. Okay? Let me tell you what I know about Jeffree Star. We were together on the emo scene in New York City in like 2006, 7, that whole time period. I know him from back then. I mean, I don't know him because that was purposeful, but we ran in the same circles. I knew of him. We were always at the same parties and stuff like that. And that is a dark man. I'm not one to be like energy. He has the darkest energy I have ever experienced in my life. I was around him and like a chill went through my body. And this was in like 2006 where, you know, it's like he wasn't famous. None of us were. We were just like people. And I'm like, I don't really want to be around this person. And I didn't have any real justification, but wow, interesting how intuition works. I don't even want to talk about him because I truly don't want, I just don't even want his name on this channel. I don't want anything. And you know, I'll talk shit about people all day long. I don't want anything to do with that man. Oh, stay away from us. So, is he hooking up with Kanye? We know Jeffree's gay, obviously, that's fine. Kanye? What? Well, if you kind of look at some data points that have been out there, it doesn't seem out of the realm of conceptualization. Amber Rose said many times that Kanye was in homosexual relationships. I have heard those rumors about Kanye hooking up with like his fashion designer friends, like Riccardo Tisci. Was he the Givenchy guy? I think so. Yeah, I've heard that. Also, some of you guys made really good points. You were DMing me. You're like, hey, this could explain his newfound religiosity, his like intense religious fervor. It could also explain his Trumpiness. You know all those GOP senators like that fat, chinless fuck, Mitch McConnell, you fucking turkey-faced fuck. Thanks for cutting off everyone's stimulus checks, people who really needed it. Great job, you waddle motherfucker. Anyway, you know, you always hear about these like super conservative, anti-gay pastors and lawmakers, and then it's like, whoops, you're caught with a lady boy in Thailand. You know, it's always that. Why would you care if anyone's gay? What's gayer than obsessing about what another man does with his penis? That sounds pretty homo to me. I'm like, I don't care who sleeps with who. I just care that everyone washes their hands. My asks are very small. I don't even care what bathroom you use. Just use the soap. You can pee in the sink for all I care. Just rinse it out. So this could not be an insane thing. And this could also be the straw that broke Kim's back. I mean, okay, you could be married to someone with mental health issues. That's fine. They're medicating themselves, treating it. You could maybe stay married to someone who cheats on you with a woman. Not a lot of women stay with men who cheat on them with other men, especially if it's Jeffree Star. Can you imagine? Can you imagine waking up to that text? Anyway, so I don't know if it's true or not. It doesn't sound impossible, but it just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I see so many women staying in relationships until there is some sort of event horizon. There is some sort of Jeffree Star level bit of fuckery. And it's like, I tell this to you guys when you message me, you know, you submit questions like, well, he's not bad. And, you know, nothing, it's not like he hits me. It's not like he's jealous. Okay, so he's not an F. He's not an A. And you are an A student. You're an A student. Yeah, D's get degrees. You're not a D student, are you? No. Do you want a D plus love? It just barely passes. I don't. I got all A's and I want an A plus boyfriend. I want A plus relationships. I want A plus friends, family, body, dog, organization in my spice rack, A plus level, right? But let's talk about the red flags that it's time to let go. Because we've talked about this before with Kim. We've talked about in a video why she held on this long. Something called confirmation bias. And we see this, the most notable example and the most clear distilled example is with voting. You know, you have Trumpers who are like, I love him, I don't care. It's like, Crystal, you realize you're paying more taxes and you lost your health insurance because he has his raisins. Get me a scratcher and some Funyuns. We see it, right? And you're like, why? Because people double down on the belief systems that go to their view of who they are, that speak to their ego. Kim's belief system is, I'm a wife and a mother. A lot of us have that belief system. I'm his girlfriend. I'm a good person. I'm a good person, you know? So you're going to justify what you're doing to align with that. So she doubled down on Kanye because she didn't want to be embarrassed. And no matter what she found out about him, she entrenched harder. But at some point, the tipping point does occur and you're like, I have to wake up. And doesn't that tipping point occur like 3 years after it should in all of us? Maybe it's not in terms of years. Maybe it's just in terms of red flags. You know, a phrase that I love is, only a fool learns from his own mistakes. A wise man learns from the mistakes of others. Wow. It's true. If only we could just pop our friends out of a toxic relationship at that first red flag. We see it. Other people see it. You tell me, like, no, I'm sure it's fine. He almost punched away at it. It's not going to go bad. And it does. And you're like, you can't say you told them so. And because they knew it too. Our goal here on this channel, and our goal as we move through dating and life and get wiser, is to move out of toxic situations, maybe not at the first red flag, but maybe at the 5th instead of the 500th, right? Maybe we can get better at looking at behavior and saying, that's not an outlier. And if it is, what precipitated it, right? Maybe it was a bad day. But maybe if I'm being honest and them almost punching that waiter, well, that speaks to a lack of patience. And that speaks to serious entitlement. And that speaks to viewing other people as possessions. And gosh, isn't that how he treats me? Isn't he jealous when I go out with my friends? Doesn't he belittle my dreams? Doesn't he control all the money and bully me about it? So we have to get better at looking at things as part of a whole. You look up at the sky and you see stars. You're like, wow, it's all those stars. An astronomer looks up there and he sees constellations. That's a bear holding a club, riding a dolphin, side saddle, naked through a river of honey, right? We need to be constellationing. We need to be astronomers in our lives. Okay, I'm going to put that star up there as a data point, but I'm also going to connect the dots and turn this into something larger I can step back and look at and evaluate. So how do we know if a guy's going to change, right? One of you guys suggested a really great video topic that I'm going to do, how to help a guy without turning into his therapist. I actually might do that tomorrow. I'm sure we're going to be talking about Kim and Kanye a lot, but how do we know if a guy's going to change? How do we know that he's not going to change? How do we know a guy's not going to change? Girl, has he said he's going to change? Well, yes, yes. No, we talk about our relationship all the time. You probably talk about it. Does he bring it up? Hey, how are you feeling about things? I just want to check in. Let's do a temperature check. What's the state of the union? What do you need from me? Is he saying that? But if you're watching this video, he's probably not. Well, no, I know he wants things to be better. He said, I want you to be happy. Let me translate that sentence for you. I want you to be happy with me acting however I want. A guy doesn't want you to be happy. If he knows there's things that need to change, if you have expressed yourself, this is what's fucked up. Why are we always the emotional auditors, right? Why can a man not see, hey, this isn't working, we're fighting, blah, blah, blah. Why can they not come to the table and be like, we need to come up with some solutions? A healthy man does. An alpha male does. A man who gives a shit about you and your relationship does. When we're the ones always like, hey, so on the agenda of our relationship, I was thinking we need to work on this. Does he even see it as a problem? So I want you to be happy means actually, I want you to be content. Contentment is not the same as happiness. Contentment means, okay. He's saying, I would love it if you could just shut the fuck up and accept this as it is, because I actually don't want to change. And we have to learn to read between the lines, because guys hand us this bullshit all the time, and it might come in a different form. Of course I want a relationship to work. I just want things to be good. I want things to be good with me behaving however I want. I want you to be fine and quiet about me doing whatever I want, because actually it's not going to change, right? So much of the time, and I tell you guys this in private messages, it's like, do you think he's going to change? Do you think he's going to do this? I'm like, has he said he would? I know that that's basic, but we forget to ask ourselves that. I say the same thing about apologies. He cheated on me and I know he's sorry. Did he say he's sorry? Did he? You'd be surprised how many times and how much time we spend making excuses for men who do not even have the decency to make excuses for themselves. Do you know why they don't? Because they don't care. Because they don't care, girl. Or they do, And they're going to like ride this out as long as they can and feed you just enough of this pacifying bullshit that you're like, oh, let me just gobble this up. He wants to try. He wants me to be happy. Until you wake up and leave his ass. So the first thing to ask yourself, will a man change? As he even said he will. Change is very difficult. We know this. It's the beginning of the year. We're all talking about New Year's resolutions. Bah, bah, bah. You know who I never hear talk about New Year's resolutions? Literally not one time in my life. Men. I have never dated or been married to or had a guy friend who ever spoke of New Year's resolutions. Women are the ones doing it. Women are the ones constantly looking at their lives and their habits and their behaviors and how can I level up? How can I be better? Men are just like, I changed my underwear once this week. You know I'm not a man-hater. You know I'm boy crazy as fuck. But we have taken this mantle of emotional rehab center for any man on planet Earth on our shoulders. And I have never had a guy try to fix me. Have you? I never have. I'm not saying guys should. It's healthier to behave like that. And look, what do men get to do? They get to run the world. They get to run the world. You know why? They're conserving their precious bullshit energy for things like Call of Duty and taking over Amazon. And we are like, oh, I just want to fix him and make him whole. What's the prize exactly for that? One thing I left behind in 2020 was fixing people. I put a spell on someone who I still care a lot about. I have a witch, and I am a witch, but I need like a secondary witch for some spells. I put a spell on him, a binding spell, so that he would stop. So that he would just stop hurting himself, stop hurting other people, and most importantly, to cut me off from it because I had to disconnect. And doing that with someone I really loved was very difficult. But once I did, I was like, whew. Once I made the promise to myself that I'm not a rehab for anyone. I can barely be a rehab for myself, right? Once I made that promise to myself, my life felt so much lighter. I'm currently dealing with a situation where typical Shallon would run in and save and rescue and save and do all this stuff. But I'm like, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm sorry. I love you. I support you, but I'm not offering tips. I'm not lecturing and preaching because it gets a slippery slope. You need to do this. Why aren't you doing this? You know what my new phrase is? Not my circus, not my monkey. Even if it is my monkey. You can go at the circus. I'm way down the parking lot. I'm not buying a ticket to the circus anymore. And it's hard. And society will shame you. You will shame yourself. You're so awful. How could you do this? But look at where that got Kim. Look at where that got Kim. Another 6 months in a toxic ass marriage. If she had just left him then, even if it was a bad look, even if people be like, how could you abandon him? What's the phrase we say? If I have to choose between protecting myself and letting someone else down, let someone else down. Let someone else down. Be the villain. Look like the bad guy. Who cares? Do what's best for you and do what's best for your family. I mean, 4 little kids, like, come on. But do what's best for you, because if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. So here are some other red flags that someone will or won't change. They don't believe they can. The key to change, and this has been proven study after study, doctor, therapist, everyone, even religious leaders come back to this idea. You have to believe it. Every change, every outcome in your life, it starts here. It starts here. I think I can, right? We grew up reading that because it's true. What you imagine, you create. What you speak goes out your mouth right back into your own ears, doesn't it? You are creating your own reality, every single word. How are you speaking about yourself? How are you speaking about your relationships? And I know what you're saying. Well, I'm speaking good. We're going to change. Things are going to get better. You can't change him. You can change yourself. You can maybe change your dog, sort of, with some good training. You can't change a man. Even if we look at couples, it's like, no, Hailey did change Justin. No, she didn't. Justin changed Justin. He had to get to the point where he was receptive and ready for that change. Hailey has been more or less the same person, right? Supportive, empathetic, I'm here for you, blah, blah, blah. as when he dumped her ass before she went to Hawaii and broke her heart versus when he married her. She's been constant. He is the variable, and that is proof positive. Only people can save themselves, right? And if somebody is telling you, I mean, I don't think it's possible for me to like blah, 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 be outgoing, communicate better. And they might not say it directly. Very few people are going to come out and say, it's not possible for me to be better. I'm just a cheater. I'm just a liar. I'm just a gambler. This is who I am. People don't say that. It goes back to confirmation bias, right? They don't do that. They have an idea of who they are, and they engineer situations to validate that, and they have self-talk to validate it too. Sometimes it's healthy, sometimes it's not. You will know if someone believes change is possible. I spent a lot of time putting words in the mouths of boyfriends and men, and he says that, but I don't think that's what he means. Really? Most people actually do say what they mean. Or if they don't, so what's the alternative? He's a pathological liar and that's who you plugged into? 99% of the time, when you guys message me, when I talk to you, the heartbreaks, the misery, it never comes from a place of, I just didn't know. I didn't know it was like, I didn't know this is who he was. I didn't know this was going to be how our relationship is. I didn't know this was going to happen again. It is almost always, I knew and I ignored it. I knew and I ignored it. I've had this conversation lately in some of my relationships. I didn't know you felt that way. You didn't? I am not an opaque communicator. I talk for a living. I communicate a feeling, blah, 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 endless feelings all day long. Don't tell me I didn't say what I said. Nene Leaks, I said what I said. It's that you didn't hear me. And I looked at that person. I'm like, this was me. I was you when I was 23 or 25 or 31. I went through a lot. But like, I was hearing what I wanted to. I was cherry picking the data to create a fact that I wanted. And it's interesting what we cut out, what we self-censor. In one ear and out the other. I'm such a silly goose. And what we hold on to. So what do you do when the writing really is on the wall and you have read it? And seeing is believing. Once you face something, there's no going back. Do you guys remember the song like, what if God was one of us? That song, unbearable. But there's a line in there, like, would you want to see if seeing meant you had to believe in like Jesus in heaven and all the angels? And I go back to that line a lot. If seeing means you have to believe, do you want to see? Would you want to know if God was real? And aren't we like that in our relationships too? If I have to actually see the depths of this man's capability to lie, the severity of his coke addiction, the awkwardness of him at a party, if I really have to look that in the face and believe it as the truth, not as an outlier, as the constant, then what? Then confirmation bias is in a fucking panic mode, right? Then you're like, how can I stay in a relationship with a liar and a cheater and still tell myself, I'm the girl who has healthy relationships. I'm happy. I'm normal. I'm respectable and worthy. I can't tell myself these things. And then you know what? Then you know what you have to do? You have to act. And this is why we stay in denial, because action is terrifying, right? Because you know what action is? Change. Wait, Shallon's onto something. Yes, I am. If you acknowledge that you can't change a guy, that he's not going to change, that he doesn't even particularly want to, then you know who does have to do the changing? You do. And suddenly, you're in his shoes going, no, I don't want to. It's like this crazy change snake eating its own tail. It's like this never-ending circle of awful bullshit. And so it's much easier to point the finger at a man who won't change and be like, you won't do anything different. Bitch, will you? Will you though, girl? If we want everyone else in the world to change, well, wouldn't it be easier if we just did the changing ourselves? But I'm not the problem. I'm not the liar and the cheater. No, but you're the one in the relationship with one. And let's say You can't change a liar and a cheater because a lot of times you can't. You can change whether or not you're in a relationship with them. Oh, so it's actually on me. Yes, baby girl. As it turns out, your happiness does rest on your shoulders. Who knew? Who could have known? So how do we actually move on? I was going to do both of these topics in this one video, but as you know, I'm talking through it and looking how long we've been recording already. I'm going to do a second part to this because truly tips for moving on. There are very concrete, actionable, easy mind hacks you can use to move forward in your life. So I'm going to do a second part to this video and we're going to tackle that. But first and foremost, your job is to move mentally into the space of change, right? And I want you to ask yourself, what tape loops, what self-talk has kept me here this long? That is your job right now. Why have I stayed here? You want to know? I feel like I know the answer. Fear. It's all fear-based. And it's these two different brains that we have. We talk about the Snooki or the Michelle Obama brain. The Snooki brain is a fear brain. Don't do that. The Michelle Obama brain is the calm, centered, intuitive voice, right? That's our intuition brain. Our fear brain, like Snooki, is loud. And so what do you hear more? Something that's loud or something that's quiet? That you have to quiet yourself in order to tune into. We don't live quiet lives. We're busy, we're stressed, we keep ourselves constantly in motion and stimulated. So Michelle, in her quiet dignity, gets drowned out by the fear and the Snooki and the noise. And so we're like, oh, that's my intuition. That's what I should listen to. No, girl, it's just the loudest fucking thing in your brain right now, right? So cultivate that stillness and that silence. Make time for it. Take 3 deep breaths every time you turn off the TV. Devote 30 seconds to just sitting there and doing nothing and just seeing what bubbles up. And then chase that and increase it. But also look specifically at what Snooki is telling you. You are never going to do better. Every guy's going to cheat on you. You're gross and you're unlovable. That's why he left. That's why he cheated. Oh, you think you can do better? You are too old to start over. If you want a baby, you better fucking make this work. There are things being said. And to clue in on them seems embarrassing at first. It seems scary. Monsters live in the dark, so we got to throw some light on things. Because once you clue into what these fear-based things are saying to you, you can start to dismantle them. And you cannot leave until you do face those demons, until you look at the writing on your own wall and think, you know what? Maybe I deserve better. I think Kim is going to be a fantastic single mom. I think she's a fantastic mom now. And I hope she's happy. I hope she dates... Oh, fuck. Idris Elba's off the market. Someone was saying she should date Van Jones. He seems nice. He seems normal. He seems not like he's only wearing beige. Jesus Christ. I'll see you later, Shalligators. We'll be back with the part 2.